Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more March of the Machine action, and today we're playing a Mardu Phyrexians deck that I'm calling Kayla's Corruption, because the deck's sort of built around Kayla's Reconstruction, which is an X and triple white sorcery that says, look at the top 7 cards of your library, you may put X artifact and or creature cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. So we have this sort of restriction that we're only playing artifacts and creatures, and we're trying to fit into the Phyrexian sub-theme because we got some, like, two incredibly good cards for Phyrexians in March of the Machine. We got Grafted Butcher, which is 2 mana, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, Phyrexians you control gain menace until the end of turn, and then other Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. And then again, we can recur it from the graveyard, paying 4 mana, 3 in generic, 1 black, sacrifice an artifact or creature, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield to activate only as a sorcery. We can do this to then give our creatures menace, which is nice. But we also have Bloated Processor, which is 3 mana, 3/2, sacrifice another Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloated Processor. Whenever it dies, incubate X, where X is its power. Well, this allows us, whenever our opponent's going to cast removal on one of our creatures, we can sack it to the Bloated Processor to get additional value, and if our opponents ever sweep the board or remove the Bloated Processor, we then get this giant Phyrexian incubator token that we can then flip on our turn and swing in to do a bunch of damage. Now, what works really well with Bloated Processor is Urabrask's Forge, which is 3 mana at the beginning of your combat turn. Put an oil counter on the Forge, create an X1 red Phyrexian horror creature token with trample and haste, where X is the number of oil counters on the Forge, and then you sack it at your next end step. Well, the sack effect will trigger both Elastil Core, Ran, Executioner, Thane, but we can also, instead of just having it sacrifice itself, normally we can then feed this to the Bloated Processor, keep on growing it, and look to win using that. But yeah, that's kind of why we're splashing red, is because we have two really good cards in red. Is we also have Phyrexian Dragon Engine, which is a 3 mana 2/2 with double strike. That's a Phyrexian Dragon, which is the creature types we want, Phyrexian. But if it dies, what we can do is we can pay 5 mana with 3 generic, 2 red. When it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So this gives us some more insurance. If our opponents like sweep of the board, we still have Urabrask Forge. If that's gone, maybe this is in the graveyard, so we can unearth it to help fill our hand back up. And then also, if our opponents remove a bunch of things, we also have Kayla's Reconstruction. So this deck is really resilient, and hopefully we get to demonstrate this on the ladder. I've been playing this deck in the standard queue, and it's been performing insanely well. I have like an 80% win rate over like the 7 or 8 games that I've played. I think it's been roughly 7 or 8. But yeah, if you have any questions about the deck, there's a full deck list in the description. There should be a link to Aether Hub where you can look at it. You can also ask me questions in the comments below, or if you join the Discord, you can chat with me and other Magic players. All right, let's see how we do. But yeah, if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing, because we try and make interesting decks every single day. All right, this hand, I don't know if I want to keep it. It's like okay, but we don't have any black mana, so I think I'm gonna actually mulligan this one. Alright, well, this hand's okay. We have 3 lands. We'll get rid of the Balduvian Atrocity. We're playing some interesting Phyrexians here because we're not playing things like Skrell's Hive, which is an enchantment that creates Phyrexians. And I'm not playing more than one of any of the legendaries because if we play more than one of the legendaries, we might legend rule when we play Kayla's Reconstruction, or if we have an extra one in hand, it's just not a good feeling. So we're trying to work around that and see how this goes. We can keep the Thane here. This is going to be pretty gross. Opponent might have removal for the Forge, but if they have removal for the Forge, we get to keep everything else. I think we just attack in with everything. And then when this dies, that'll trigger Ran. Whenever one of more creatures we control die, the opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This only triggers once a turn, but looks like they're gonna braid the Forge. They managed to kill the creature and that's fine. Alright, I think we're gonna play the Phyrexian Dragon Engine here because it actually provides more damage. But you can see we didn't do anything super shocking, but we've already got our opponent down to 9 life, which is crazy. We can go ahead and block this because it's a first strike. Well, it's double strike, but you know, it fights in the first strike combat phase as well. We could search for something that gives our creatures menace. Or like we could search for in the top 7. You know what, we're just gonna play this and see how it goes. And then I think we're gonna just attack in with both. Actually, let's just hold back the Thane. No, we're gonna go in with it just in case they block the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Yeah, that's why I attacked in with both. We'll go ahead and kill their Logomos, or Logomos, whatever it's called. Logomos, Hand of Hatred. You know what? The legendary Rakdos human shaman that creates things. Oh, our opponent's also playing a sort of like sack themed deck, which is cool. Alright. If we don't... Okay, this is super good. Now we can Kayla's Reconstruction for 2. We're going to look at the top 7 cards of our library, and we'll be able to put 2 of them in hand, or onto the battlefield here. We can get another Dragon Engine, Mandible Justicar. And then we can go ahead attack in with everything. If our opponent doesn't block the Bloated Processor, we can sack everything else to pump it up and kill our opponent. That should do more damage. And then I think that's technically lethal, but I'm going to quickly do this because I don't want to be bad at counting. And Bloated Processor steals a win. Yep, that was a pretty good curve out, and then we had the Kayla's Reconstruction to go ahead and find us more action that actually kind of ended up winning us the game because we were able to sacrifice more things. I don't think it is technically necessary. I only really needed to sacrifice the one Phyrexian Dragon Engine, but Fat Gat. Oh wait, we're playing in Standard Cube, not Ranked. My bad. We'll move over after this game. Fat Gat, we got... This is an interesting hand. I think I'll go ahead and keep it. Kicker, I really do like Phyrexian Missionary here because we can kick it to return things from our graveyard, so we have even more kind of like recursion or resiliency through our Phyrexian Missionary here. Our opponent's playing Phyrexians. They're playing like Abzan Phyrexians. They have the Seed Core here, which says you can spend it to cast, or spend this mana to cast Phyrexian creature spells, like 1 mana of any color to cast Phyrexian creature spells. I think what we're gonna actually do here is gonna be very painful, but I think it's worth it because we get to draw a card, and because we're kind of short on cards. There we go. That's something, I guess. I don't know. We really need a land. Oh, this Grafted Butcher can help push through even more damage. We only got the pain lands though. Yeah, we're not gonna go block this. I think our opponent might be a toxic deck, but I could be wrong. We'll find out. If they go ahead and like remove stuff with Drowning Acre, we'll know. Nope, they're kind of just big stuff. Alright, we'll play out Grafted Butcher so our creatures get menace. Then we'll play out Phyrexian Missionary for some lifelink. But yeah, creatures get menace, so they can't block either of these, which is nice. We can go ahead and force even more damage, draw even more cards. I think we're going to go ahead and draw these cards regardless, because we kind of need... I think we might honestly just try and Kayla's Reconstruction to give our creatures menace, and try and finish out the game that way. Our opponent can't flip Phyrexianos as an instant speed action, so we can choose not to block either of their creatures, as long as they don't have any instants, and then we're good to go. But yeah, if we can give our creatures menace with like another Grafted Butcher off the top. Now they got blockers though. Yeah, our opponent's playing a toxic deck with just a little bit of Phyrexianos sprinkled in there, I guess. Opponent doesn't do anything. Interesting. We we could really use a land about now. It's like 3 turns missing lands. I mean, we could play Kayla's Reconstruction, try and find another like creature that we want. Um, but our creatures in hand aren't bad. I think we have like a bunch of these in hand. I don't think we have to worry about wasting them. And this will give us our best creature. Okay, well, it'll give us all those lands that we've been looking for. We were going to be drawing 2 more non-land cards, though, which would have been kind of annoying. Play out the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. 3/3 double strike is pretty good. We can go in with a sweeping lookout because it has vigilance and it's a flyer. Oh, never mind. I'm so used to the opponents having 0 reach, and I haven't played much against Bluegrass. Nope, that's the got a little distracted there. I think we're dead. Kinda got completely land screwed here. Like if we weren't land screwed, we could dig more easily with these Kayla's Reconstructions, and we wouldn't hit only a Phyrexian Dragon Engine off of that. I will block with the Phyrexian Missionary and the Phyrexian Dragon Engine, I think. I mean, they can kill the Phyrexian Dragon Engine, but that's fine. We have another in hand. It's not terrible in the graveyard. We'll gain 3 life regardless. Okay, so they do go for the kill on the Dragon Engine, and then we gain 3 life. That's pretty good. Tap land is not what I was looking for, but we can go ahead and play out. I mean, you could go for another Kayla's Reconstruction, see what happens. But I think we're gonna go for a Dragon Engine, or we could play a Bloated Processor. We can sack things in response. We got rid of their Trampler, which is relevant. Let's play this. No attacks. Yeah, Gix is pretty nice if you can curve out with it and you're on on the play, but on the draw, or when you're more so behind and like the opponent's walling up, Gix does not do too much for you. Though we might be able to actually activate its ability here. I've never used it. I've honestly forgot that existed. I always just considered the first part. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, draw the card. Opponent can give this Death Touch. Go ahead and double block. I mean, they could give it Death Touch, but it shouldn't hit the Dragon Engine. Yeah. Unless they choose the Dragon Engine to go first, and then it's in our graveyard, which is okay. I just want to be gaining life. Sure, our opponent's deck is about being toxic, but at the same time, we're at like 9. Our opponent scoops it up. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. We'll move her to the ranked queue because that was a bit of a mistake. I didn't mean to queue up for standard play queue. Play, click, 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 click. The game buffering. There we go. I do kind of need a new computer, but I don't think this game is known for running always the smoothest here. Let me know if you have any experience with the game stuttering up on you. This hand is actually pretty good, I would say. Phyrexian Missionary is nice against like aggro strategies. The lifelink and the 3 toughness. It's just, I feel like this card is quite good. Well, speaking of strategies where the Phyrexian Missionary should do amazing against, and then we get our other lifelinker. That's awesome. We'll go ahead and play this one out because it's more likely to get removed anyways. And then they might not have like 3 damage for the Phyrexian Missionary. Maybe I'm making a mistake here. Yeah, see, now they're just wasting their spells. Good opponent. Fall into the trap. See, it was all a trap all along because we're a Forge deck. Urabrask Forge is so good against like controlling strategies, or just like strategies based on removing your current creatures. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play this out instead of playing anything else out right now. I don't think we're at danger of dying, so we can just go ahead and get these going because we want them going as soon as possible because then they're gonna get more counters and get bigger. They snowball out of control. I have to say, the Forge was kind of hard to judge in terms of how good of a card it would end up being because I thought it wouldn't be very good since let's go ahead and play out this. I mean, I guess we could kick it, but I'm just more interested in not dying at the moment. Then we go ahead, swing for 5 damage, and the next turn we swing for 7 damage. We just need to survive like a turn or two. Which I think we'll be able to do. They can recast a lightning strike on one of our creatures, which is not great, but... Are we going to die to what I said these missionaries would be good against? That, hey, to be fair, they've had a decent curve here, you know? Okay, that's pretty good. Is it good enough? This goes up to 4, and this goes up to 3, and then that's 7 damage, so that would be 8, 9 with this. I think we actually have to kind of roulette here and see what happens. If we do roulette here, we're gonna lose 1 life to the, I think we're just dead. Alright, well, mono red is mono red is mono red is mono red. That's what I'll say. Not much I can do about mono red having the nuts. Put them 2 away from death. Were we on the play or on the draw? Don't remember. I feel like we were on the play, so we should have had the advantage. Yep. Alright, come on now. There's 2 buttons you have to press. Attack, attack all. That was, all that was necessary. You'd think the mono red deck would care about winning fast, but sometimes, you know, it feels good to play out those cards. Alright, let's see if we start going on the lose streak here in ranked. I think we'll still hold up reasonably well, but that was a tough matchup. The opponent had the burn spells. This hand's not great. These are tap lands off the rip. Alright, that seems alright. This seems alright. We can do this. Get rid of a Bloated Processor. We get to go first, which should be good. Get rid of one of these. Because now we can curve out 1, 2, 3. Blackleaf Cliffs comes in untapped. There we go. I guess I could play Sadistic Pilgrim because it doesn't matter too much. Opponent's presumably playing Grixis, which is a personal nightmare of mine, but we'll see how this goes. Probably play out Bloated Processor next turn before we attack, just in case they have removal spells. We can sack our creatures in response to the removal and grow it. Non-creature, non-land. Well, good luck with that one. We do not have any non-creature, non-lands. Okay, that I think is too good to not drop. Because it will do a bunch of damage this turn. Well, it'll gain us life, and then it will do 2 damage because it's going to die, and then that triggers the last core. Very nice card. Opponents, they got 3 mana. They had 2 tap lands off the rip. Invasion of Tarkir. Is this Grixis? Grixis Dragons? The fabled Grixis Dragons? Exile target artifact or creature. Yeah, nah. I will go ahead and do this. Next to combat. Our opponent targets the Bloated Processor with a cut down. We can sack in response, but nope, they never targeted it. Cool. Do need a land. But we can push through a bunch of damage if they play like a creature here. We can just eat it. Well, assuming it's not a Shieldred. Sushi, that is annoying, but I think it's still fine. These top decks. These top decks leave some things to be desired. Alright, Alex Sentry, not quite Brutal Cathar. We can't get rid of their Sushi. I think we'll just play out Phyrexian Dragon Engine then. And then next, and I'll attack. Maybe they won't block, you know? Blockers. We could have attacked in with the Swooping Lookout, but it was worth a try, you know? And then next turn, I think we'll be able to finish our opponent. They can't really attack in onto their Invasion of Tarkir unless they can flip it, which they might be able to with a burn spell. Xander Lounge cycling, that is not a good sign. Not a good sign for them. Like, things aren't going well for them is what I mean. We can steal that up with our Annex Sentry, so I think we pretty secure win. Yeah, you can't really attack an opponent. You attack in, you're dead. Alright, well we can go ahead and do this. Play this. Deal that. And then next go in with everything. I think this is lethal. If they block Bloated Processor, we still win, and if they block, like, yeah, if they block anything, we still win. So, yep. There we go. Back to winning. Back to winning we go. The Forge is no joke if you can get it down. It does have its problems, as every deck does. But yeah, the Forge is like a good. Well, yeah, we already talked about it. We're splashing red because Phyrexian Dragon Engine, if you can unearth it, is really strong. And if you can get the Forge down, this Forge itself is very strong, and it synergizes well with our Vran, our Elastil Core, our Bloated Processors. So, this hand's kind of slow, but we do go first. Does that make up for it? Our opponent's playing like a control. Okay, this hand's worse. Might keep the lands, honestly. At least we get to curve out, you know? We have triple white for Kayla's Reconstruction, which is nice as well. There you go. It was easy top deck. Easy top deck. When we play the Phyrexian Dragon Engine, we'll be also able to grow it, which would be cool. Sweeping Lookout, interesting. Well, unfortunately, I have to play the Dragon Engine here instead of Gix. Well, I guess I don't even have double black anyways, but opponent can't really block. I wonder if our opponent's playing like Esper Flyers. Why would they be playing Sweeping Lookout? That is one question I have. We did build a budget birds deck that was pretty fun, and then we changed it up some, adding rares, seeing how we could improve it. That was part of the upgraded version, as we included Steel Seraph because it's a great card. I love that card. Go ahead, attack in with Phyrexian Dragon Engine. If they don't block it, we can actually draw 2, which is awesome. Because of the way Grixis triggers work, it's every time you do damage. So we can go ahead, lose a life, draw a card. Then go ahead, lose life, draw a card. And what do you look at that? We got another card to play. We could Kayla's Reconstruction twice, which would be cool. We do have like a problem with the Steel Seraph sticking around, so maybe Kayla's Reconstruction hope to hit one of our 2 Uh, Lockdown. What's the name of that card? The 3 mana 1/4 toxic 1 creature. Because if we can hit that, we have actually a chance of doing some serious work. We're gonna give it lifelink most likely, I would think, but they could give it vigilance, which is similar effect. They give it vigilance. That makes some sense, because then they can block the Phyrexian Dragon Engine when we don't draw two. Bloated Processor. Alright. What is the right play? Do we want to gamble on the Kayla's Reconstruction, or just play out what we have in hand? It's probably best to just play out what we have in hand, isn't it? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that then. And then we can play this out. If the opponent goes to block our stuff, I guess we could... no, the Black Leaves Cliffs wouldn't really work. If the opponent goes to block our stuff, and it's going to be a problem, we can just sacrifice it to the Bloated Processor. Don't really know if it's a great idea to block everything, but their Bankbuster is tapped down, so they can't crew it. That dies. And then that dies. We do get to draw a card, which is cool. And then end turn. If the opponent goes to sweep the board, we can sack everything to the Bloated Processor. Wow. You're right on cue, opponent. How did you know? I can't believe they actually... I didn't think they were going to sweep the board, but that is honestly perfect timing. Alright, we get a 6/6 thing. What was the right move? Let's go ahead and play out this Bloated Processor. Flip this. Swing in. And then if our opponent goes to remove our creatures, we can go ahead and sack it to the Bloated Processor, have it become a 4/4 incubate, or a 4/4 like incubate token, whatever. It's weird how incubate works. Technically it's like +1 counters, right? So you can like proliferate them and everything. Okay, our opponent is playing like Azorius artifacts. Okay, that's cool. But I think we're going to Kayla's Reconstruction and just win the game. If we can find a Grafted Butcher, they're kind of out of action. I think that's what we'll do. Yeah. Let's play this land. Pay 3 into this, I think we can do. Look at top 7 cards, but 3 cards. Or 3, yeah, basically 3 cards. Grafted Butcher, that'll do. And then Bloated Processor seems pretty good. And sure, why not? Mandible, Justicar. They gain Menace, so our opponent has to be a little bit more selective the way they block. They're going to take 4. And then next turn we should be able to finish them out, I think. They double block like that. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Well, yeah, it does make a lot of sense because they would die otherwise, right? Oh, wait! We missed lethal. I could have just sacked the rest of my board to the Bloated Processor and won the game. Please don't have farewell, opponent. It's not like you can cast it, but like, if they kill anything, we at least get the Bloated Processors back. Okay, yeah. I can't believe I missed that lethal. That's embarrassing. Man, this deck is actually kind of nutty. To be fair, we've played like 3 ranked games with it at this point, but the fact that we haven't suddenly performed dramatically differently is nice. I called the deck Kayla's Completion, but a more accurate description of it is Kayla's Corruption. I think what I called it. I guess you could call it Kayla's Completion as well. Just because I thought it. I really wanted to build around Kayla's Reconstruction. I loved the card when it came out, and been looking for ways to use it. I don't have like soldiers. I don't have like any of the Valiant veterans, so it's been kind of hard for me to make actual use of use of the card because I feel like it works best in some sort of like tribal deck where you can get some like lords and then dumping a bunch of those type of creatures for cheap, or having a bunch of those cheap creatures makes sense, and dumping a bunch of those creatures and looking at the top 7 also makes sense. Alright, well, it's gonna pain me to see you go, Grafted Butcher, but I think you're probably dead. I love the art for this card, though. So cool. Get the Forge down next turn. We do have triple white for the Kayla's Reconstruction, which sometimes can be difficult to have. Opponent is playing what is it called? Mono white mid range. Oh my goodness. Got a little stopped up in my head there, I guess. Pie guy. Yep, that was what I was afraid of. Lay Down Arms is a disgusting card. Should be fine though. We have Urabrask Forge. They probably don't have a ton of borrowed time. What does white play? Lauren. Lauren of the Third Path. That card could deal with it. Deal with it. Alright, play another Forge. Get the Forges going. Sadly, they're going to be smaller than without our poor little Grafted Butcher. We got sent to the naughty realm. Question is, do we want to Kayla's Reconstruction this turn or next turn? Because if we Kayla's Reconstruction this turn, we only get 2 cards. But sometimes you only hit like 2 cards just because lands can be in giant clumps. Okay, that also works. I haven't seen anyone playing around with that card in a bit, but since we drew into another one, we'll go ahead and cast it. I'm gonna cast it beforehand just in case we find Grafted Butcher. Oh my goodness, I love this. This is very good. I like it. Bloated Processor, sure. Their opponent's probably just playing like Exile or Google. I don't know. What is the best one of these to have on the battlefield? Probably Bloated Processor because we can grow it with the Forge. Next. Goes in with 3-2. And then our second main phase, it's going to die at the end of our turn anyways. Go ahead, sack it to this, end turn. And then we can go ahead and look at the top 7 again, pick out 3 next turn. One might have a Depopulate or a Sunfall. Sunfall would be the worst. Okay, we're going to go for Grafted Butcher. Oh, Bloated Processor. I mean, that makes some sense. Grafted Butcher, though, is quite fearful on its own, though they might have another Ossification. I don't think we have anything to deal with enchantments in this deck, which I guess, yeah, the Phyrexians didn't really get any huge permanent tools that deal with enchantments. Opponent's not going to have a counter spell, so we can go ahead and cast this for 3 without too much worry. Go ahead, dig. Forge, Gix, Phyrexian Missionary, absolutely. I do enjoy. Double Forge. We're not going to attack him with the Grafted Butcher because they can exile it if they have like a Wanderer on their turn. They might have like an Iganjo. I think that would make some sense if they have an Iganjo. Really, we just kind of lose to Farewell at this point. We have to draw 2 cards though if they let these connect or deal any damage to them. Yeah, they might double block this. If they don't double block this, we still get to draw 2 because of Gix. I love you, Gix. The secret to playing legendaries was only playing 1 copy of them. Opponent realizes we have Gix here, doesn't want us to draw any cards. They exile a card from their hand and they're going to take 6. Do you have a land and Farewell? If they have land and Farewell, I will lose my mind. Like you can have your the Eternal Wanderer, you can have your like any other card I'm fine with. Farewell, I will lose my mind. Okay, that's fine. Well, it's less fine because they've literally exiled everything we removed, so we can't use this. Balduvian Atrocity is kind of a fun card in this deck because we can go ahead, play it for 3 and it's a menace 2/3, but if we can kick it for 1 red mana, we can go ahead and return target creature with mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, sack it at the beginning of next end step. But, well, they're mono white, so they're no fun, and so they exile everything we've ever done. That rhymed. Kicking it does not give it haste, it gives the creature that it reanimates haste. And I think we go ahead attacking with everything, and that's lethal. Lethal regardless. Yeah. So I didn't even really have to play out that card, but... Yay, we finally ranked up. I've been playing too much jank. Trying to make new cards that I enjoy work is, sometimes, a mistake. Also, I'm not that good at making decks, so it takes me a while to stumble into something that might be quite competitive. Let's see. We'll go ahead and play, I think we'll play 2 more games, and then we'll go ahead, look back at the deck, and yeah. Opponent. We got, this should be an interesting hand. We got Kayla's Reconstruction, but we don't have necessarily have the mana for it. We have Balduvian Atrocity, so if they go ahead and try and remove our Missionary, we can return it. We got Phyrexian Dragon Engine, which can also help to kind of fix our hand. Opponent, mono red A. We'll go ahead and play out Mendable Just the card, then maybe. Nah, we'll play out Missionary. We're not afraid. We're not afraid to take a stand. However the song goes. Okay. They are Izzet. It doesn't get a counter spell. Did not expect Izzet. Especially Izzet with like nothing to do. They wanted to hold up a protection spell probably. We'll still go for it. Never know until you try, you know? Cast protection spell. Oh, they don't have a protection spell. Okay. Thank you. They built their deck a bit like me. Never play probably the some of the cards that I need. Yep, that is the card. That card is scary. Question is, will we be able to overcome it? Alright, let's go ahead, attack in with... What do I play? I will just play these out. Oh, we have only Caves of Coilus. That's kind of awkward. Let me go ahead and fix the music real quick. There we go. Opponent. Just being a double striker 2/2 that's a Phyrexian that's also colorless is quite good. They're going to block with a Kenris Spellsphere. Do they have prowess to trigger? They do have prowess to trigger it. Okay, that makes some sense. They put away another Kenris Spellsphere, probably looking for like a Stoke the Flames to get back their Iconoclast maybe. A land, untapped land off the top. Okay, well, they listened to my wishes, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. Please don't have like a make disappear. Yeah, I was about to say, you and me are not fans of each other if you have a make disappear there. Ruining my fun. Everything besides Annex Entry. Play with fire. Into Lightning Strike. Okay, that is a lot of burn that is headed towards our creature, or yeah, our creature and not our face. I think we stand a real chance of making our opponent's life difficult with this Kayla's Reconstruction. That they're going to be able to build up a big board of chumpers. And Kenra Spellspear, if they can transform it, it does serious damage. Meeting of the Minds, nice. I haven't seen anyone playing Izzet yet, so this is very cool. Nice. Actually, we can Phyrexian Dragon Engine to get cards back into our hand if we can't cast this Kayla's Reconstruction. If we can find an untapped white source, boom, this Kayla's Reconstruction could win us the game, but otherwise... Opponent? I don't know if that was go ahead and Phyrexian Dragon Engine, I think. Just send it. Discard hand. Take action. Oh, they're Jeskai. Okay, that's good. All that's good. Alright. Go in, go in. I'm assuming they have somebody to get rid of our Swooping Lookout. Yeah, there you go. Opponent's got another chump blocker. I mean, we just need a Lasso Core out here in this Urabrask Forge, and we'll be able to finish our opponent pretty quickly. Yeah, we'll go for the Soldier first, because we're not going to be killing the Gitaxian Spellstalker. And then we have another one in the graveyard to refill our hand again, potentially. Bloated Processor could also allow us to sack our other creatures here, which means we could win pretty quickly here. Opponent goes to remove stuff we are. Well, hopefully they don't remove this Lasso Core, but if they, yeah, we need card. I mean, we could attack, but there's not too much of a reason. Dang, this third path Iconoclast. We had removal for it, but they had removal for a removal. So can they really afford to attack in with this Urabrask Forge on the table? We can't Dragon Engine while this is... Alright, well, it's still okay. This isn't bad. If they go to remove it, we can go ahead and sacrifice other stuff. What are you gonna do, Lightning Strike it? Then you can get rid of it. I think we have to risk our Bloated Processor here. I mean, they probably have a Lightning Strike, right? Yeah, even if we go to sack it, they can just Lightning Strike it in response. We just have to go with this. There's no other option. So if we don't get anything into hand, we can go ahead and Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Let's say they have two spells. Two spells, that gives them both up to 14/14s. Say one of them is burn, like they're burn spells. Let's go ahead and block once. I think this is worth. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's not very useful. Go ahead, discard our hand here. Our very full hand here. Okay. Annex Sentry. Let's go ahead for the third path Iconoclast. And then I think we should be able to get enough damage through, assuming they don't have removal for the Annex Sentry. Go ahead, attack in with everything. The blockers. Unless they have something to untap their Gitaxian Spellstalker. Well, if that's gonna die, we can go ahead and sacrifice it. And then I guess we are not quite winning. Fizzles the Lightning Strike. They block that, they block that. That's fine. Alright, next turn we win. Well, I forgot that Urabrask Forge token has like a 1 toughness, so it's very easy to die. Wow, we have not managed to draw into another Kayla's Reconstruction. We got rid of one of them. It's been downhill since. I mean, no blocks. You can try and take a chunk out of us. Don't think you have what it takes to kill us, though. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, we'll play this, because it helps us. Because then we can sack it when we go to attack in. Do we think they have 2 removal spells? I mean, we can attack in with everything. Don't block with the Annex Sentry. Well, yeah. Is it worth attacking in with the Annex Sentry? Because we can always sacrifice. I think this makes sense. I mean, if they have like a cut short, then this attacking with the Annex Sentry is a bad move. But I think we just go for lethal, right? To damage. Of course they have cut short. That's so annoying. Alright. But now they're gonna run out of spells to actually kill us with. We can still kill their Gitaxian Spellstalker, which is good for us. And then we can flip this token as we need it. And we still have the Forge, so I think we just still win. Opponent's gonna need a miracle here. Yeah. Alright. A very grindy game to our good, well played by our opponent there with the kind of keeping us out of lethal there for a while, but not quite enough. We definitely had to reach through our deck to try and find an answer. Alright, we'll play one more, then we'll go ahead and wrap up the video. Let me know what you guys think of Phyrexians. I know we have like the new Elish Norn, which is really good with like sort of low to the ground Phyrexian type decks, but I wasn't playing it because, yeah, again, we're built around Kayla's Reconstruction here, so this isn't bad. We got the Just the Car. I think we're playing 3 or like 2 to 4 copies of this Just the Car because, well, lifelink isn't bad, and then, you know, if we Kayla's Reconstruction and get to pump this up by hitting other artifacts, not bad either. I don't know. Lifelink is just kind of nice. Not the best body, but like honestly, there is another Phyrexian that you could probably replace this with that would do better, which is like a 2 mana 2/2 from like the new set. But sorry. But we're not playing that card. Again, we're gonna hold up the Phyrexian Missionary so we can potentially kick it. I love this card. Opponent maybe playing mono white mid range. Our hand is not very good. Yeah. Yeah. That was part of the problem with mono white mid range is they exiled their stuffs. We don't have a forge. We don't have Kayla's Reconstruction. We're gonna need to top deck something here. Asia's welcome. So they okay. We're gonna need to top deck something. Perfect. Awesome. Go ahead, sack this. Grow our processor. As long as it's not exile removal, our opponents really have trouble stopping us. I'm wondering if our opponent is actually an enchantments deck. We'll go ahead and play out both. I mean, maybe we should have held the missionary. Yep, to damage. And then we go ahead and sack the good old token. with a land in hand, so like a Kayla's Reconstruction, awesome at this point. Circle Confinement. 3 mana or less, that will get our Bloated Processor. Gross. I need to build an enchantment hate deck. No. I don't know if there's really that many enchantments running around. We just happen to run into the one person probably building an Elvish North. Okay, this is an awful top deck. Probably, I'm guessing that they might be playing like Elish Norn here, just like a mono-white enchantments deck. And their goal is just to remove everything. They're gonna probably block that, yeah. You're gonna gain 5 life. Do 5 damage to your opponent. Depopulate. Sunfall. Nope. Okay, our opponent actually has nothing. Yeah. That was kind of shocking. Our opponent just scooped up out of nowhere. Alright, well, I did say that was going to be the last game, so we'll go ahead and hop into the deck. If you enjoyed this video, though, perhaps you'll enjoy yesterday's video, where we played... Oh, what was it? Oh my goodness, I can't even... Why can I never remember what we played the previous day? Yesterday we played... Oh, it was +1/+1 counters. We played +1/+1 counters. It was super good, or it was not super good, but it actually performed decently on the ladder, so I recommend checking it out. It was a lot of fun. Those I can't speak. Those botanical brawlers can really grow quite crazy quickly, and yeah, especially in multiples. Anyways, it should be on the screen now. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Ciao.